Alright, so this is going to be my video blog, which is going to be my portfolio project. This portion of the portfolio is going to be over my past and how my decisions have directed me into where I am now. And I've actually got a quote from President John F. Kennedy, which is, "The change is the inevitable law of man. Whoever dwells on the past or the present will undoubtedly miss out on the future." So, I guess I should start from, I don't know, the beginning. I was born December 6th in Memphis, Tennessee. And then when I was about 9 months old, my parents got a divorce. And so we moved, me and Mark moved up here. This was where my parents both grew up. And I grew up in it's a little white house at the corner of Washington and Cherry Street with my grandparents. And it was one of them, Mom was always working, Mom worked 2 jobs. And so Graham and Grandpa were always there, fortunately. They just kind of helped us, I don't know, get back on our feet and whatnot. But I remember it was a lot of like PB&Js and the little Capri Sun juice packets. I remember that a lot, where you stick the straw in. And then, I don't know, the problem was, it's such a small town, like everyone knows everything about, and no one changes. So I've seen the same, we'll say 200 faces every day of my life since I was 3, and it drives me crazy sometimes. I don't know. And I think that's part of the reason why I want to go into a bigger school. That's kind of why that's integrated on. But I mean, I can even remember I went to Cottontail, which was daycare before preschool, with Gregory, Jennifer, Austin Slaba, and Alex Scott. And then I can remember, like in grade school, me and Marshall lived down the street. Me and Marshall would always play Halo. Oh, we tore up Halo in my grandparents' the back bedroom at my grandparents' house. We just tore it up. And once we were done with that, we'd go out and grab Nerf guns and just shoot up the backyard with them, because we were still playing Halo. That never stopped. And then, but my dad, like, my parents were divorced, but like Dad wasn't out of the picture by any means. I remember every summer we'd go and we'd spend the summer at Dad's house. But for Dad's job, he traveled a lot. He worked for a radiation cleanup company kind of thing, and he just moved around a lot. But we'd always get, about 8 o'clock at night, we'd always get phone calls from him, and we'd always, you talk to Dad every night, it was good of him. But then in the summers, we'd go out and visit him and live with him for 2-3 months. And I remember we lived in California, New York, and Nebraska. Those are the 3 I remember. I remember California was great. That's where me and Mark started to ride dirt bikes, and we just, we'd go. I think we fell down every 4 feet, which was good. It was really good. And then the next summer, we went to Grand Island, Nebraska, in a trailer park, and it was white trashistan. Like, it was bad. And somewhere along the way, Dad met his 3rd wife. Pops moved around a lot. Yeah. So, for a while there, I had a stepmom and a stepbrother. And this stepbrother was dumb as a bag of rocks. Like, oh my God, he was very close-minded. One, we were super young. We were probably, I don't know, 7 or 8. Very close-minded, and he just, I don't know, nothing lived outside of him. So, but he was also a diabetic. So I remember one night we were sitting there. It used to be Mark would sleep this way. Gage, that was his name, would sleep that way, and then I would sleep this way, all on the same like worn out ass pull out couch, because it was a trailer and it was bad. Either way, one night he had a seizure in the middle of the night, and we had no idea what was going on. And I remember he had what's that? Whatever. Either way, so he's flopping around a lot. And I just remember waking up to him screaming and just getting kicked in the face. And just getting the hell beat out of us. And so, Mom came in, we got that all dialed in or whatever. But, I don't know, I never really liked them. But, I mean, Dad, I think that was part of the getting over to the divorce and moving on, was Dad needed that closure, which you can't blame him for. And probably, we went there, I don't know, probably 3 summers. I remember the last one, I probably remember the last one the best because I was the oldest. But I remember we moved into a double wide. That's a big deal at a trailer park. That's social status symbol. Hell yeah. So we're chilling out in a double wide, and a tornado hit the trailer park because God hates Nebraska and trailer parks. So we were targets. We got hit a lot. And so I just remember one night it was really bad. And we got called into the tornado shelter. And so Dad's wife wasn't home. It was me, Dad, Mark, and Gage. And I just remember us, like, we were going to the tornado shelter, but the 3 of us kids were just irrational about it. We were dumb. We were bad about it. So I just remember the shingles from the house are flying off and flying past us. And it was bad. It didn't look good at all. But I made it through it. And I think that really kind of helped me understand, like, poverty and what it's like to be poor and be in a bad situation. And that kind of made me never want to go back there again. But at the same time, I don't know, I'd be okay with it. Like, I know I could survive in that situation, I know I could handle it well. Which is probably, I think it made me better. So, then we, and went to grade school, did all sorts of sports and whatnot. And I think it really things kind of changed. My 5th grade year, I started doing sports. I started wrestling. That was my first sport I ever did, and I really enjoyed it. I still do. I remember first year was rough though. You went to the tournaments, and I'd win 1 and lose 2 every time, just guaranteed. And then I think another big year for me was 7th grade year. I don't know why, but for some reason, like socially, I did really well, and you always look like a dick or whatever when you talk about popularity. But that was really what kind of helped my social status a lot, was 7th grade year. I don't even know why, but it worked out. And then freshman year I didn't like. I liked freshman year. I didn't like sophomore year. It was freshman year, you were new and it was exciting, and you're doing like all the varsity sports and the high school sports, and that's all interesting. And then you get to go to homecoming, and you get to, all that. But I always kind of felt like freshman year I had a target on my back, because Mark was a senior, and we were together in all our sports. And, it just didn't, I don't know. I wasn't comfortable. But, yeah. I just remember, like, football, we were in the same tackling group. And he just beat the hell out of me in tackling groups. And I remember exactly the first day. We got put in the same tackling group, and it was helmets, no shoulder pads. And you were just supposed to hit, lift, drive, pick them up, set them down. So I got the ball. I got like one strap done on my helmet, and I'm chewing on my mouthpiece or whatever, and the whistle blows. I'm lightly jogging towards him, and he just comes up and he goes straight like helmet to helmet, just smacks me on the head, and then he just threw me to the ground. And I remember McGee making a big deal about it, doing, "Oh boy, that was a problem." Then wrestling. We had to wrestle each other a lot, and once again he's bigger, stronger, whatever, so he just whooped up on me. That was the year I lost a little love for wrestling, because that was the year, and it didn't just happen to me, but I noticed like the guys who didn't go out all 4 years would just show up at the end, their senior year, their junior year, and take spots just because they were bigger and more athletically built. So they just take spots from me and the other freshmen and the sophomores who are trying to play the game. And so I hated that. And since then, it's always been brought up to me, oh, why don't you go out your senior year, your junior year, and kind of come back to the sport. And I mean, that just seems like it's progressing the problem. It just seems like it's doing the same thing to the next group of guys, which I have a problem with. So I gave up on that. But, and then, I don't know, through just all of that, I think I needed something to do. I needed to get out of there. I needed to get out of Marengo and high school, and I needed more responsibility and to do something that mattered. And I realized when I was 16 that you could enlist at 17. And I talked to Mom. You always kind of lie when you're talking to your parents. You gotta play the game right. And so, told Mom I was gonna enlist. I was gonna get like a no one cares MOS, support MOS, just do the Army thing. Reserves, stay calm about it. And it was December 19th. I want to say 13 days after my 17th birthday, I got sent to MEPS, and I got my physical, and I signed my contract. And I'm going to end it there, because now we're moving into my present. But I hope that works, and we'll see you next time.